call to order. Town of Florence Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Maricelo, or Miss Benitez, excuse me, will you take the roll?
Yes, Chairman. Commissioner Adam,
Here.
Commissioner Capolongo,
Here, present.
Commissioner Pro,
Here, present.
Vice Chair Frost,
Present.
Chairman Franzo.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll say the Pledge of Allegiance for us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, discussion, approval, disapproval of the minutes of the special meeting conducted on December 9th, 2021. I'll open up to the commission for any comments, editorials, whatever.
Chair, this is Kathy Adam. I have I believe, a correction on page 2. The last paragraph where it starts, Commissioner Adams said that the town went through years of discussion for a traffic light at the intersection. And here's where I think what I said was the intersection of the McDonald's and 79, not Anthem and the roundabout at the south of town.
Any others?
Did you get that, Mari?
Yes, I got it here.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Well, I'd like to just take a moment to thank Maricela for toning down my language or discussion I had with the county during that last meeting. It's a good job. Okay, can I have a motion?
Motion that we approve the minutes.
Do I have a
I'll
second?
second. I'll second.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Prue, second by Commissioner Adam. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, new business. We got a presentation, approval with conditions or denial of a design review for a new signage at the Superstar Car Wash located at 3517 North Hunt Highway, Florence, Arizona. Ms. Benitez, do we have a presentation?
Yes, we have a short. Sean, can I share screen?
Yeah, go ahead. You should be able to.
All right. This first item is for Superstar Car Wash. It is a sign package. So it's 3517 North Hunt Highway, so north of the new Big O Tire. The applicant is Superstar Car Wash. We have a representative here to answer any questions. This is for 4 new wall signs and possibly a monument sign. The design review for Superstar Car Wash was approved last year. And now they're going through their sign package, which they did not in the first go around with the design review. So there'll be 4 on the building. Here's one side with the north elevation. And the same exact thing will be located on the south elevation as well. And this is your standard look. It's really no different from any other Superstar Car Wash that you find in the valley. Now the wall signs located in the north and south elevations will have the same look. So Superstar Express Car Wash and Free Vacuum will be the signage. The area is 71.2 square feet for the Superstar Express Car Wash signs for each one. It's 71.2 square feet. And then the free vacuums, each sign is 63.2 square feet. That's for each frontage, we're looking at 134.40 square feet per side. And that's together, which is less than the linear cumulative of the building frontage. Now, there will also be a possible monument sign on the entrance just south of the building. They haven't confirmed with the sign company that runs that area. They haven't confirmed that yet, but they are looking to do one in the future. So I wanted to put that in. Now this is the 4 wall signs and the possible monument sign. And looking through them, staff has found that the crest is in compliance with the applicable town codes. And the Planning and Zoning Commission may approve with the listed conditions in the staff report or deny the new sign package for the Superstar Car Wash. And that completes the presentation. Are there any questions from the commission?
Gentlemen, any questions on Kathy? Any questions, comments? All I'm hearing is silence.
Nothing here.
I see no reason not to approve it. I think I see no reason not to approve it. I don't have any negative.
Okay,
It looks pretty
Well, then-
standard.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it's within the parameters of our code, so really.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for approval with conditions of the new sign package for Superstar Car Wash located at 3517 North Hunt Highway.
I'll second.
That was Mr. Capolongo?
Correct.
Okay, so we have a motion by Vice Chair Frost, second by Commissioner Capolongo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we have a presentation, recommendation of approval with conditions or denial of a town core infill incentive plan requested by Wheaton Dental, represented by associate architects, to reduce the number of parking spaces required for a new dental office on a vacant property at 454 North Pinell Parkway Avenue. Ms. Benitez, do we have a presentation?
Yes, we do. We also have representatives here from Associate Architects and from the company in general. So Wheaton Dental sent us a request for the infill incentive to reduce parking after they went through a pre-application meeting with town staff. This location is at 454 North Canal Parkway Avenue or along Highway 79. It is currently zoned highway business commercial, and then they were looking to put dentist office on that piece of vacant land. All that there is now is a concrete pad. Now, the infill incentive, as stated, is looking for reduced parking. And one of the ways they're looking to do this is through the core infill incentive district, which helps encourage revitalization and new development in the Florence core area, since we have older structures, non-conforming parcels, and a lot of other development challenges that new developers are facing when they come into the core area. Public hearings are not required, but we do need to have public meetings with the P&Z Commission and Town Council. And this property lies within the infill district, so we had the associate architects turn in their letter of request. So this is the current site plan the dental office has prepared. And in this site plan, we're looking at a 2,494 square foot building. And it currently has in place 14 parking spaces, 2 of them for one being ADA with another next to it. So the code requires one space per 100 gross, 100, one space per 100 gross square feet for a medical office, and this dentist office falls under that category. So 25 spaces are required. Now they put in this request so they can have the 14 spaces which they had in the site plan. The main reasoning is the business area should be considered towards the parking and not the spaces that are mostly vacant during the day or will not be occupied, such as restrooms and break rooms and closets. They also plan to have appointment times for a dentist, for their dental services and employee shifts. And this limits the number of people that will be coming into the office. So those 14 spaces will meet the actual need or the demand. Now, the business area provided in the floor plan comes out to the business area being like the dental's office, the x-ray, the lobby, and what was listed in the staff report. And that comes to around 1,427.25 square feet. So we're looking at more 15, 14 parking spaces based on the code, one space per 100. So they meet that. And this is a look at the floor plan that they have provided us. That was also found in your staff report. Now, staff recommendation, Planning and Zoning Commission may forward a recommendation of approval or disapproval to the town council, subject to any conditions that the commission feels are appropriate for this infill request. Staff did find that this will help development around Highway 79. It meets what's required zoning wise, not parking, but as for use. And it doesn't have any negative impacts that we see outright. With that, I will now ask the commission if they have any questions.
All right, so open to commission for questions and comments.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I'm just curious, of course, the code requirement, one space per 100 gross square feet. I mean, that's general, but I mean, looking at a dentist office, and this is a relatively small office, how many dentists and staff would be in there at any one time? And then then add how many patients would be there. It just seems to me, looking at it, 14 spaces would be adequate, but maybe I'm missing something here.
And Mr. Chairman, if I could, I think that I
Please.
want to follow on to that and just ask the applicant, how many staff members do they anticipate having there? And then I see there are 6 operatory areas here, they're calling them, and then there's 12 chairs out front. And so I'm just curious to see how all that adds up to number of parking places.
Agreed.
This is Marcus Murray with Associated Architects. What they're looking at right now is, you see the 6 operatories, so that would be 6 patients. There's 2 receptionists up front. He's currently planning on just 1 dentist, but there'll probably end up being 2 at some point. And
That's
then
10,
a couple of hygienists as well.
12, okay.
So now you're cutting into that 14 spot.
Well, and in addition to that, in addition to hygienists, you have assistants for the dentist, right?
That's what I was calling the hygienists. They're basically the dental assistants.
Because the dental office I go to, the hygienists and the assistants are different. The hygienists are the ones that clean your teeth and do all that. And then they have separate people that actually assist the dentist.
And this is Brian Johns with Associate Architects. Just let you know, Dr. Wheaton is in this meeting, so he could probably assist on answering those employees if he wants to join on.
Yeah, this is Dr. Wetton, sorry. There's no plan for another dentist. I've been in Florence for 13 years by myself, and I don't plan on associate or anyone additional to myself. We have one staff member up front, a couple of hygienists, and a couple of assistants. So we're right now about 6 people, and we're just looking to increase by one hygienist because right now we are just too busy to keep up with the demand from the community. So altogether, maybe looking at 6 staff members.
Well, that's just, it's just cutting it really close, I guess, because if you have 6 patients there, 6 staff members and 2 or 3 people waiting, or you're bumping that 14. And I'm just concerned because there's, I fill up with gas at that gas station, which will be your north neighbor, and they have some parking along the south edge of that I would be concerned if you start using that the town is going to get some negative feedback from them saying, hey, the dentist's office is using our parking. What can you do about this? I totally agree with your project. I think it's wonderful. I just don't want to get, hurt from unintended consequences here.
So if I may, where would additional parking spaces come from? Is it, if you reduce the size of the building,
Yeah, that's the thing is, that's the challenge is currently we have 4 operatories, and moving to another building that gives us 4 operatories just so we can have a bigger waiting room and a bigger staff break room doesn't really do us any good. We really need more operatories. If we needed additional parking, there are spaces at the gas station right next door. And then there's also street parking right behind this location is just an empty warehouse and a manufactured home. So we could just park on the street. That's sort of my plan B is if it becomes an issue where the staff is taking up too much of the public parking, then we would just move to park on the street. I might say Mount Athos is a great big restaurant that's right next to where we're at. And they don't have very much parking for how busy they are as a restaurant. In fact, I would say I would have to go and count the number of spaces, but based on the size of their building and how busy they are, I guess I would ask that be taken into consideration as well.
And Mr. Chairman, I guess my concern is I just don't want to propagate a bad situation. And if Dr. Wetton is willing to work around this and work with his neighbors to make sure that it doesn't become a problem that the town has to come in and solve later with the gas station or others saying, hey, they're taking my parking, you need to step in and do something. I think as long as he stays on top of this and watches where staff parking is and whatnot, I think it'll work. I just think that it needs to be cognizant and thinking about this so it doesn't cause a problem.
I would agree. I live right down the street, and I know this is about parking, but I would ask, where is the entrance and egress to the building? Is it on 79 or on Ruggles?
Well, this is Brian Johns again with Associate Architects. Basically, we didn't want to create a dead-end parking situation, so there's actually 2 ingresses and egresses that are actually in the same place that they are now. They're not creating a new curb cut or anything along that line, but to make easier traffic flow, and again, not to create a dead-end parking in a very tight site to begin with. There's actually one on each side. If they can pull up the plan again, you can probably see that.
And I'm sorry, so is that on Ruggles? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. There's only 2 streets that are accessible.
So it's off 79 and off of Ruggles.
Both. Okay,
Yes.
well, I guess here's the thing. I know Mount Athos has been using that lot for overflow parking. So we understand their lot is very small and there will be parking issues, right? Because when you build your building, and again, I'm very much in favor of it. I'm happy that lot is getting used, but there will be overflow just from Mount Athos. And then if you have overflow, so I think you need to consider finding places for the staff to park, because as Vice Chair Frost said, anticipating there's going to be parking issues there. I'm also a little concerned about the traffic coming in and out off the 79 and they whip around there. And so it's just, if all of you who know the 79, we've got that suicide lane down the center, and there's quite a lot of traffic going to the left and right. And this adds another office where people are going to be trying to make turns in and out of Ruggles and in and out of the office space. So I am happy this is being built there, but at some point, I think the town's going to have to look at what's going on 79 in that very, very busy stretch with the suicide lane.
Mr. Harmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of points to add to the discussion. First of all, to, I think, further address Commissioner Adams' question, the actual entry to the building faces Highway 79 for the for patients. It does appear that there's a secondary access at the southern end of the building on the Ruggles frontage, probably for employees, I would presume, as well as emergency access if necessary. Currently on Highway 79, and keep in mind, that's a state highway. The town of Florence has no jurisdiction over that state highway. There already exists on this property, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe there are already 3 curb cuts entering this property. They're only going to be utilizing 1. So, potential conflicts would, presumably be reduced from that standpoint. But 79 as a whole, there are multiple lots, vacant and otherwise, that front Highway 79 that have existing curb cuts on them. So ultimately, we hope that they all get developed, because the goal is to increase our consumer base out in this area. Also, in looking over their request and looking over their building footprint, this medical is the only parking calculation that's based on gross area. Retail, all types of retail and other types of uses, the parking calculation is based on the net site. So certain things that are being requested here to be reduced out of the footprint as far as the calculation is already being taken into account on retail. And certain retail, fast foods, things like that, are going to have a greater traffic impact than a facility like this would have. That's why, in looking at this, from staff's viewpoint, there is a logic behind recommending approval of their request in order to encourage development and to bring a vacant lot that fronts on part of our entry to the town, as Ruggles is, with a nice quality development. So all in all, I think the traffic impact for a medical facility is going to be greatly less than, let's say, another fast food service, which we have had inquiries on this lot, by the way. Nothing has come to fruition yet, but things like that are going to generate a lot more traffic in and out onto Ruggles and onto Highway 79. So I think, generally speaking, for a staff recommendation, we are in concurrence with their request.
Any other questions or comments?
Just one, Mr. Chairman. I guess this would be for either Larry or Maricela. Have they looked at left turn movements going out onto 79 with the alignment of the little shopping center and whatnot across the way? I know that alignment is kind of strange when you're coming out of the service station.
Yeah, it is. This actually is more in alignment with that commercial development. But again, these are existing curb cuts. To do anything different from what is out there would take another right-of-way permit review through ADOT. And it'd be like starting from scratch. And anybody who's dealt with ADOT recently or in the past, that is a very lengthy process that would hold up any development of the site, whether it be this dentist facility or some other use. So, but yeah, this is more aligned with the driveway across the street, as I recall. I don't have the aerial up in front of me right at the moment, but that's what I recall.
Oh, that's
We,
good.
we need to, we need to keep in mind that the lights are timed between Butte and I think it's Diversion Dam Road is the second light.
Yeah,
So
correct.
that the traffic actually empties out of 79 and gives the feeders a chance to make their left turns or right turns or whatever.
Right.
I do have a question. I think it's already been answered, but will this parking, will this go with the land, or is it just for while the building is being used as a dental office?
Yeah, when something of this nature goes with the property, you know, be a new
Okay.
structure, if for some reason Dr. Wheaton decided to move elsewhere or do something else, this would still be already set up as a medical facility, although it could have easily converted into some other type of office space. But the granting of the waiver through the core district infill incentive would run with the land, as would anything else, a use permit or other things runs with the land.
Okay, but we also stated that if it were to go to retail, fast food, whatever, that the parking would be based on the net business area.
Correct.
And
Certain restaurant uses, for example, I'm trying to remember the numbers, Maury. I think it's one space for 50 square feet,
Right.
but it would be based on the net.
Yeah.
So the front customer area, and I think it's based on the net and number of employees. So actually the traffic count would be higher for a restaurant, and they would not be able to fit a building this size on this particular lot because of that ratio.
Okay. Well, I'm a little confused. Are we in the future going to get a design review on this?
Yes,
Okay,
if this goes through and they don't have to, it'll come through design review.
okay. All right, so any other questions or comments? Well then, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second Lonnie Frost.
All right, so we have a motion to approve. These don't have numbers, Maricela. A motion to approve town core infill incentive plan requested by Wheaton Dental, represented by associate architects, to reduce the number of parking spaces required for a new dental office on a vacant property at 454 North Pinnell Parkway Avenue. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, I think it's agenda item 5B.
Yes, thank you. We got all yays on the approval, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. All those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Capolongo. Okay, moving on. Presentation approval with conditions, denial of a design review for a new building at 383 North Main Street called the Old Florence Tap House. Do we have a presentation?
Yes. All right. The Old Florence Tap House. The site is located at Main and 6th Street, 383 North Main. Most people associate it as the vacant county lot. It is within the downtown commercial zoning, and right now it is currently being used as space for picnic tables and special event uses. But the new owner is looking to add a new tavern / restaurant called the Old Florence Tap House. Now, the history of this lot is that there was buildings originally on it in 1952, and they housed County Health Department office, the US Post Office, and the Pinal County Air Control Office. Now, these two buildings were removed at some time in the past, and the lot remained vacant till now that we're coming with something. Now, as I said, before, the county did lease it out for seating or events, but the new owner is looking to put the restaurant on the lot. And this is a site plan of what they're looking to do. Have your main building with seating, kitchen, and walk-in, and all of the things that would be within a restaurant. And then around it, you have some seating, north patio, south patio, a little bit of parking in the back, and then open space for events or food trucks. This is a colored view of their elevation. We're looking at some brick paneling, metal roofing and metal building, wood siding, and some awnings on the side and the front. Now, this is going to be a 2,900 square foot building, 18 feet high. Both of these, the height meets the requirement for the downtown commercial zoning. There'll be enclosed patios on the side, and the large outdoor space in the south and southeast will be for hosting a rotating selection of food trucks, and there'll be a stage for entertainment. There'll be a standing seam metal awning, which will help continue the awning, which is already present on Main Street. And they will incorporate a wrought iron fence around the property. Now, the color palette works with what is already present in the downtown, because we're looking at these earthy brown tones, and it includes the rustic red brick on the sides, and we're also looking at the wood siding. Most of these materials are approved within the historic guidelines, and there are also some materials that are already seen in the downtown area. Now, the walls will have sconce light fixtures on the building, and these will mostly be located around the doors and windows. The light will be facing down, so light will not go out towards other properties and buildings. And landscaping will be added to the site, as it is currently vacant of landscaping. So we're looking at your typical trees that are such as your mesquites. There's also saguaro cactus planned for location there, and some other native desert landscaping that's within.
Beach juice?
No, it's the top
Oh,
That's
it's really light.
So here is an elevation from Bailey Street. Space.
That's the Main Street elevation.
And all the siding and
Marisol?
materials go well around this one is the Main Street elevation.
Okay, but the elevations didn't come through on my package. So I'm
Okay.
seeing them for the first time.
This is what you'll see from Main Street and the side from 6th Street. And then back here is what you'll see from Bailey Street. And then the community space, or that space between the one green building and what else is there on the vacant parcel. Now, they're also looking at doing signage. And this is what we'll see from 6th Street and Main Street. So there'll be 2 wall signs. Both have a total area of 40 square feet. The total areas for each respective frontage are below their respective linear length, or what is acquired in our code. It also meets what is required within the historic district guidelines. They also plan to have a hanging sign under the awning. And in accordance with HDAC's conditions from the meeting, that sign is allowed, but it does need to be brought up 1 more foot to meet the 8-foot height above the sidewalk that's required within the guidelines. With this design, staff found the new building and site plan proposed for the old Florence Tap House met the criteria found within the town development code for new commercial infills. It is up to the Planning and Zoning Commission to move to approve with the listed conditions in the staff report or to deny the design review for the Old Florence Tap House, case PZ 2151. We do have representatives here for the Old Florence Tap House if the commission has any questions. With that, my presentation is complete.
Okay, so I'll open it up to the commission for any questions or comments.
Yes, I have a question. I think I heard you say there's going to be a wrought iron fence around the property. So would that include on, I think it's the south side between the property and what is the Wrap Saloon?
Let's see. Yeah, so it's right here. So here's the Wrap Saloon. And that wrought iron fence will go right along.
Well, that's on Main Street. I'm talking about going along the side of the building of the Wrap Saloon. I'll tell you why. If I'm reading this right, 1.26 and 1.27, they're talking about putting a stage there and possibly a tie-up for horses. And my concern is that in the past, we've used this property for entertainment and speakers, equipment, et cetera, gets leaned up against the Wrap Saloon. So I would ask that there be some sort of divider so that that building isn't damaged when there are horses or entertainment going on the stage.
We have a representative who would want to speak on that.
Hi, yes, this is Colin from Presence Design. The stage is designed with a back, so nothing sits against the building. It's also a fire-rated wall, so that should help mitigate some of those concerns. As for the horse tab, we can definitely turn that corner back to the street, so there's a little bit more buffer between that and the other building.
Yeah, understood about the back of the stage, but you know, when bands or entertainers are coming in there to set up, everyone uses that as a kind of an alleyway, right? And so they're putting all their equipment back against that Wrap Saloon building. And there is a right of way there where people should not be, but if there isn't some sort of barrier, I suspect there could be damage done to that building. So again, if there could be some sort of, 4-foot fence that runs back so that people are encouraged not to put anything up against that building, I think that would be helpful.
Okay.
But thank you for this. I am so excited. I live right down the street and this is the biggest thing since we got our aquatic center. So it's wonderful.
Mr.
Any
Chairman, I
other
have
questions or comments?
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple of questions or comments.
Please.
I believe your elevations are mislabeled. Your building elevations, looking at signage, are labeled correctly, but the other ones are mislabeled. The one that you call Bailey Street elevation is actually 6th Street, and the one you call 6th Street is actually Bailey. I think that caused a little bit of confusion when we were looking at that earlier. Probably my biggest concern in this whole thing is where you have placed the dumpster for your front lift garbage truck. With that up at the corner like that, that garbage truck will actually be pulling across and into traffic to do that pickup. And that's a huge safety concern.
What traffic? Are you talking about the parking spaces, the 3 parking spaces there?
No, I'm talking about traffic on Bailey Street.
But the trash is entirely off of the street. The truck pulls in all the way onto the property to pick up the trash.
Exactly.
Backs up on the property and then addresses Bailey forward as it exits.
Which direction is the truck going to access that dumpster? It's going north on Bailey Street, turning across traffic, and then it has to back out into traffic that it's facing. That's not a good scenario. Your dumpster really should be placed down in the southeastern corner of the property where the truck comes south on Bailey, goes into it and backs out and then goes south. He's got to back across another lane of traffic to make this happen.
The truck should be able to turn around entirely on the site, so it shouldn't have to back out onto Bailey Street at all.
No, nope. I've got too much experience in this, and I know that a dual rear wheel front load garbage truck that's going to be servicing that is not going to be able to turn around on site. There is no way.
Okay, well, we're happy to take another look at it.
Yeah, please do. And the other thing I noted, that when I looked at your details, you'd have that truck accessing across a sidewalk that you call 4 inches thick. A front load truck has a dynamic load on that front axle when it's lifting up that front load can, and it will break all of your concrete out. You need a reinforced area there, particularly where those front axles are, or it'll break up all your concrete very quickly. And you'll need reinforced access wherever that is to make sure that it doesn't break up whatever's there. Also, on your landscape plan with the existing location, I noted that the trees that you're planting there, Palo Verde and others, their canopy will actually go over into the area, and you show that here. And if that happens, then your garbage truck will start trimming your trees for you, and it'll look pretty bad.
Okay, well, we'll address that.
Any other questions or comments?
I'd like to know what the timing is. When do you expect to, assuming this will be approved, be ready, open for business?
Assuming that we get approval here, we would like to have our construction documents into the city within the next month or two, month and a half. And they would like to be open for business before December of next year.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good.
All right.
Any other questions or comments?
And I should tell the applicant, you know, my comments are negative, but I think this is a wonderful project. I really think what you're doing here is great. I'm just really concerned about that access for that truck to get in there and out of there, particularly with the parking that's going to be along 6th Street and along Bailey Street here, because there's going to be a lot of on-site parking. So we need to make access for that truck as easy as possible so that there's no conflicts with pedestrians or parked cars or moving cars.
No worries. We understand your concerns and we'd like to address them.
Good.
Okay, I just have one question. I did not, my package did not include the layout inside the building. And I have to ask this question, considering the politics of Main Street, does your building include an ADA bathroom?
Yes, both bathrooms are accessible.
Okay. Other than that, all of my questions have been covered. And I look forward to seeing this project come to fruition. So on that, could I have a motion, please?
Mr. Chairman, I'd make the motion that we approve this project based on what Vice Chair's concerns are, that the architects come back with, revising their that area for the dumpster.
Well, let me stop this here. Why don't we make these stipulations that staff will follow up on?
Oh, okay.
So I'll ask
That's
Vice
better
Chair
word.
Frost if he'll make the motion, include his stipulations so that Ms. Benitez can follow up.
What I'll do is I'll amend Mr. Pro's motion and that the that the dumpster situation be worked out with staff so that it's safe access and And when with that, I will second Mr. Pro's motion.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Pro, second by Vice Chair Frost. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion carried. Congratulations, gentlemen. We look forward to seeing your work.
Perfect. Thank you all.
Mhm.
Okay, moving right along. Presentations, information only. General plan.
If you saw your email in the last 24 hours, the 60-day review process has begun. We have an extensive list of contacts that we have already sent the link to, state and local governments, utilities, everybody in the world. I think I didn't count them, but there's about 50 or so outside agency contacts and those are mandated by state statute, and we're following the statute on this. We're working with the town's new PIO on getting information on our social media pages. We'll be having a somewhat, not an accelerated schedule, but an overlapping schedule in that sometime in March, we anticipate to hold some more community meetings or work sessions of some nature with the commission and or the council. Our goal is to fulfill all of the statutory requirements for the 60-day review and public hearing processes in such a manner that this can be added to the election calendar for November of this year. So the time frame is a little tight. There was a brief discussion with the council on, to relax this a little bit and take it to a spring 23 election, but their preference is to move it forward and get it on the ballot this year. So you're going to see a lot of things swirling around and happening in rapid succession starting in March.
Okay.
Do you need the time, Mr. Harmer?
I'm sorry?
Or do you need the additional time, or?
No, not
Are we
really.
taking shortcuts?
No, there's no shortcut here at all. Legally, we can't take shortcuts. That's pretty much mandated. No,
Well, what I
what'll
mean
happen-
is rushing the process.
No, we're not, no, I don't believe we're rushing it at all. This is just one of the options available to us. We were just giving the council in a brief discussion kind of an option if they wanted to, relax a little more. But I think there's a expectation that the current sitting council should be the one that actually does the adoption process and is still seated when it goes in front of the voters, which makes sense because this council are the ones who really worked with this project since its beginning.
Okay. Anything else on the general plan?
No, just if you get the opportunity, please go through it, ask questions. There is the contact of our consultant included in the transmittal that we sent you. If I can clarify any of the details, please feel free to contact me via the town email. Just to let you know, I will be kind of out of touch for the next week. We're in the process of moving out of Gilbert into north end of Santan Valley. So that's, at my age, that's a lot of work and it's really wearing me out. So I'm not going to be focusing a whole lot on office work for about the next week, trying to get that transition taken care of.
It'll take years.
Yeah, thanks.
Trust me. Okay, anything else on the general plan?
That covers it. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Future development, oh, this is just beautiful. Future development of Hunt Highway and Highway 79.
Yes.
Who's going to handle that?
Well,
Let's get that done.
there was on the last agenda, and I do want to report some updates for Highway 79. Now, it's not the left turn lanes that you, or the right turn lanes y'all wanted, but I wanted to give an update on the bridge. So the town is in the process of moving its water utilities so the bridge can continue with its improvements along 79. Right now, they are being held up by San Carlos Gas. I guess or a gas company. Geez, it's right here. Ron. They are being held up by the gas company because they are having trouble moving their lines. So it's giving ADOT a little bit of heartburn, but our engineer has told me that they should stay on schedule in terms of improvements along that bridge.
Gas and heartburn kind of go together, don't they?
Yeah, no joke intended on that one, but good job. Something else that is happening on 79 is, let me bring it up. Lord. So we have an exhibit.
Your
that
microphone
is-
is horrible, Maricela. Is that
Okay.
it? Are you done?
Yeah, that's, nothing much has changed on the Hunt Highway side. 79, we have an exhibit for the new roundabout. I had it up here and now it's stalling on me, so that's
Gee, I
lovely.
can't wait to see it. It'll only be the third one since I live here.
I'll send, after the meeting, I'll send you all the exhibit of the roundabout that we currently have for 79.
You know, it used to work pretty well until ADOT got their hands on it. Okay. Future agenda items. I can't wait to hear.
Future agenda items, we are looking at the Filibertos got their design review items being fixed with their traffic analysis in. It should be coming soon to the next P&Z meeting or the one after that. In addition, Keith will update you on some possible code amendments coming your way. Keith?
Mr. Eaton.
All right, thank you, Maricela. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, and Commissioners. If you've been following along with Town Council, we've been going through and doing presentations of a possible, or the first steps of a code change, going from a 2012 codes that we presently have to a 2018 codes. We did a presentation in September with a timeline. Tuesday night was the first reading of the code set, namely the amendments. It is council's intentions and it's council's request that we also bring in this body along with HDAC with reviewing our amendments, specifically how it affects downtown or any of the other areas. So I'm going to be working with Maricela. She actually, this was a surprise to her tonight too. I was just texting her as I had something. So I'll be working on that to get that on a very near future agenda to begin that process so you guys can take a look. We'll be doing some public outreach as well. And it is important, like I say, to council and to us, that you get your eyes on these amendments and how they're going to affect. They'll be forthcoming.
Mr. Eaton, where is the county in terms of what year they're working to?
2018. So everyone around us is 2018 with the exception of Coolidge. And I believe Coolidge is still in 2006. So this kind of, we're coming in at a late game. Of course, I've only been here a year. It was been 2 years now, almost 2 years, I guess, 2012s were adopted. So when we come in at this late of a game, all the bugs have been worked out of the 2018 code, which makes it really nice. So we're a little late game. Realistically, we should be looking at the 21s, but I do not like to adopt when they first come out, just because of the bugs. And quite frankly, all of our builders, most all of our builders, commercially and residentially, are already drawing and building to the 2018 code. They actually have to dumb our plans up and change the date to 2012 codes. So it's going to have very little impact are amendments. They are the ones that have some impact. So we'll make sure they're easily explained, and we'll make sure and run everything through here. And we look forward to this group's thought processes on.
Great. Well, should not be big impact. It seems like everybody else is working to 2018 except us. And when I say that, I mean staff. Contractors are already there. Okay. Any
One
other
more.
future agenda
Sorry.
items?
One more thing I would like to give a heads up to the Planning and Zoning Commission is that we may have a possible conditional use permit turned in for a storage unit or person looking to do storage units along 79B in that 287 roundabout area. They've through a pre-application process, and they've started asking about the conditional use permit process itself. So I have a feeling that may come in the near future as well. We have other prospective people looking at doing RV storage and self-storage in other parts of the town, 2 up in Anthem and then 1 down here. So that's kind of what's been flowing through our department recently. That may come to the commission either do a design review or conditional use permit.
Okay,
That's all.
thank you. All right, call to the public for public comment on issues within the jurisdiction of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Do we have any public?
There is no public attending right now.
Thank you. I'll close that. Call to the commission, current event only. I'll start it off. The car show, antique car show, will be on Main Street on Saturday. It's usually a very big event and usually a lot of really neat cars. I encourage you to come down and visit.
Okay.
Any other current events?
Mr. Chairman, adding to that, a week from Saturday, the 29th, I believe, is the Florence Cares or something like that day, where volunteers are all getting together to do big cleanups and whatnot around town. So if you're interested in putting the group together and come down, I'm sure they would appreciate that. It starts at, everybody's congregating, I think it's 7 a.m. at the community center, starting work at 7:30, and then lunch is going to be provided at 11 o'clock at the downtown park. So that's kind of a fun thing. And I noticed in the calendar as well that we're doing the historic home tour again in February, which which is a real neat event.
Yeah. You know, years ago, we did do those cleanups almost on an annual basis. And trucks were volunteered, trailers were volunteered. It worked out really, really well. I hope it is as successful as it was in the past. It's great to see. Any other news flashes? Okay, all quiet. Then motion for adjournment. Come
I'll
on,
make a motion
guys,
to-
somebody make a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Do I have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I'll second that motion.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Capolongo, second by Commissioner Pro. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 We are adjourned.